This is a Triumph Street Triple R. This is a Challenger 2 tank. This has got nothing to do with what we're about to do. This is a Triumph Street Triple 765 and I'm currently in a massive military playground. Haha! Good day! Ever since the very first Street Triple came out, it's always been a more flighty, twitchy, agile plaything to its older brother, the Speed Triple. And over the years they've kind of piggybacked on updates, so one would become the sort of favoured child, then the other would get an update and people would get all excited about that again. And definitely myself, my heart flips back and forth between the awesome torque and power of the big Speed Triple and the playful nature of its little brother. Because this thing is such a big kid. It's lighter, it feels more agile. Having less rotating mass means that it's not just the number on the spec sheet. The smaller, lighter engine changes direction more quickly, feels more eager to pick up and rev, just feels that little bit more sprightly and naughty than its bigger brother. It lacks that awesome power, that awesome wind it open and hold on for dear life that the Speed Triple does really well. But by God is it fun, and by God does it make up for it with bad child attitude. This is a properly fun little motorcycle. Now the Street Triple, if it's ever been one thing, it's a bike that likes a good time. From the very first incarnation, way back in, I'm going to say 2008-ish, around then, it's been a bike that wants to make you play. The way that three-cylinder, originally 675, now 765cc engine, picked up, drove off the throttle, it was such a childish bike. It was impossible to get on one and not want to pull wheelies, do skids, and generally muck around like an idiot. And this latest one, no exception whatsoever. All I've been doing today is goofing about. Doing skids, doing wheelies, stoppies. And while that's not exactly a real world test, it does actually give you a real indication of how easy a bike is to ride and how well it's fueled and how predictable the brakes are, because to have confidence to do stuff that's at the edge of your comfort zone, regardless of where that is, you need a bike that you can trust and a bike that does what you're expecting. And the Street Triple has always been that bike for me. I've always found them one of the easiest things to get on and prat around with. The triple engine makes such good torque. It's hard to not wheelie them. But it makes it in a 600 size package, which makes the bike less intimidating, a bit more forgiving, easier to throw about. I'm not going to tell you today about how well the Street Triple handles, what it's like to get your knee down on it, what the chassis is like when you push it to your limits, because I did none of that. Lara's already ridden it on the racetrack, so check out her review, which will appear as if by magic somewhere next to me, and she'll be able to give you a better insight to what the chassis does on the road. I've just spent the whole day doing stunts on the Street Triple. Best day ever? I reckon so. And while that hasn't really told us much about real world usability, there's something about doing that that tells you a lot about how easy a bike is to ride. You need a bike to be predictable. You need a bike to be light, maneuverable. You need something that gives you confidence that it's not going to do something odd every time you push it. And that, from the very first Street Triple right through to this latest one, has been, for me, its strongest point. It's a bike that you can jump on, and from the word go, it just feels normal. There's no learning it, there's no figuring out the throttle sensitivity, there's no working out what the clutch is going to do. It just does everything you ask it to do, no more, no less, and lets you get on with pushing out, doing skids, and trying generally to make a prat of yourself. This Street Triple here has taken everything we've thrown at it today without a single missed beat. There's only a couple of criticisms I've come out with. One would have to be that the clutch is a little bit heavy. The cockpit, it does have a kind of old school feel to it. There's a non-radial brake master cylinder and a cable operated clutch. Ignore the brake master cylinder because that front brake is phenomenal. There's so much power there that I don't even care that the master cylinder looks kind of old school. The cable clutch I did find a little bit heavy. It's not four fingers by any means, but the non-adjustable lever, so there's no dial adjuster to move the reach in and out, and being a kind of slightly heavier cable clutch, I found that a little bit heavy work when I've been doing lots of tight technical riding today. The feel of the clutch and the way the clutch works I love. Someone's been doing burnouts down there. The feel of it is really good, but the weight is just a little bit sluggish for me. Now, my only other criticism of this particular Street Triple is that with the R model you don't get the chance to put the racetrack ABS mode on. So by that I mean you're stuck with ABS on both wheels. It doesn't really let you stoppy much, and it doesn't let you lock the rear tyre. Again, fine in normal use, but for hard track use, and certainly for what we're trying to do today, it did restrict what we could do without then unbolting the ABS sensor and letting the thing do skids. The traction control can be turned off in the rider modes on the dash, so that wasn't a problem. So as standard you can do burnouts and wheelies, but if you want to do skids and stoppies, you need to do a little bit of engineering with the old Torx driver down the back wheel, take the sensor off, and then you lose your speedo, you lose all your ABS, but you put the bike into hooligan mode. The Street Triple has taken a lot of abuse today. We've destroyed a rear tyre and had a massive, massive amount of fun in the process. So I'm going to shut up talking. If you want to see the full track review, check out Lara's review. But safe to say, I think we've proven the Street Triple is a great bike for doing stunts, skids, and generally having a good time.